We now recognize the Honorable Minister of Small Business and Development to open the debate.
Honorable House Chair, Chairperson and members of the Portfolio Committee, our Deputy Chief Whip, honorable members, Deputy Minister, the Director General and officials of our beautiful portfolio, SIFA, SIDA, chairpersons and CEOs, distinguished guests and entrepreneurs. I greet you all this afternoon. Speak more about a Black child to a Black child to liberate a Black child. In a country where scarcity of jobs is the main topic and there is no viable alternative for graduates and semi-skilled people. Use what you can to create a living. One day we will win. Bantwana bomthonya. Thank you, SIDA. Honorable members, these are the words that were expressed by Amlula Mele Mbabala, who is the beneficiary of our programs. Honorable House Chair, it is an honor for me to present progress on the work that has been done by the portfolio since our last budget vote and to outline plans for this financial year, which is an end of the sixth administration. In the last budget vote, we committed to provide business finance to startup businesses and invest in existing businesses to give them the much needed support for their growth. The budget vote we are tabling today sets out achievements from the previous year and highlights our ambition and allocative decisions for the period ahead. As we approach 30 years of democratic governance, it is important to remind ourselves that life today for most of our citizens is better than it was under apartheid. We are not alone in our economic woes. Like South Africa, the EU is also expected to grow at less than 1%, and the UK is projected to have negative growth. A recent IMF report suggests that 1/3 of countries worldwide may fall into recession this year. The global economic context is highly constrained with the COVID after effects, the general slowing of Chinese growth, and the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Compounding this, honorable members, is the energy challenge here at home. Although slightly easing, the world remains in a tight monetary policy cycle to manage inflationary pressures. This means weaker currencies and reduced investment flows to much of the developing world. In this context, SMMEs become even more important to sustain livelihoods and drive growth and jobs. Currently, our 2.5 million SMMEs employ just under 8 million, meaning that we need to more than double the number of SMMEs and cooperatives in the country to come close to the national development target of 11 million new jobs by 2030. Honorable members, this means a step change in how we do things and requires both a scale up of support and more coherence in the SMMEs and cooperatives ecosystem. This is the approach called for in our National Integrated Small Enterprise Development Strategic Framework, which is the third iteration SMME strategy for our country, and which was completed in the past financial year as promised in last year's budget vote address. Honorable Chair, our approach to SMME and cooperatives development is fivefold. The first pillar of our strategy is to cut red tape and address regulatory impediments facing SMMEs and cooperatives. We've done much work here, which the Deputy Minister will give more detail. Safe to say, we've met SALGA, who will pronounce on the interventions post their National Members Assembly in August. The second pillar of our work is to enable access to markets. Our country remains a very concentrated economy by international standards, a legacy of our apartheid past. The ANC's 55th National Conference noted that, and I quote, "The task of ensuring that all South Africans share in the country's wealth is far from complete. The country's unequal distribution of wealth and income is still largely characterized by the racial and gender demographics of our colonial and apartheid past, I close quote. Through our market linkage program, we will link 250 products manufactured by SMMEs and cooperatives to domestic markets this financial year. We have a great collaborative partnership with Proudly SA, and we're currently working together on an e-commerce platform managed and run by Proudly SA. Honorable members and citizens, please support the cause by buying local. In continuing with the implementation of the localization policy framework, we've prioritized sectors with low barriers to entry and sunrise sectors like cannabis, and will this year be setting up a cannabis and hemp cluster in the Eastern Cape. This cluster will look both at the industrial hemp value chain as well as how to mainstream small indigenous cannabis growers for lucrative markets. Through SEDA, we are implementing our comprehensive small business exporter development scheme, which is designed to build export readiness and fund emerging exporters to participate in trade shows, exhibitions, and business-to-business engagements outside South Africa, with a special focus on African markets. This year, we will allocate 25 million rands for this trade support. We will also be sending 5 SMMEs to Turkey for export readiness training in fashion design. Honorable members, the African Continental Free Trade Area presents great opportunities for our SMMEs. In March next year, South Africa will host the Global Entrepreneurship Network Africa Plus, which will bring leaders and entrepreneurs from across the continent to see how we can create a more effective continental SMME and startup ecosystem. We are also implementing the She Trades program, which is an online platform to support our local owned businesses. Through our support, Lefakong Consultants, a Northwest-based Moringa production company, is exporting to Botswana and expanding production to Mauritius. House of Natural Butters, a Western Cape-based company, became a member of She Trades in 2020 and now exports to Namibia, Botswana, and Zambia. The other significant market access support we provide as the portfolio is in the area of enterprise supplier development. Here, we have created a community of practice as the basis for the creation of a partnership platform. As Tony Elumelu said, one of Africa's prominent entrepreneurs reminds us, and I quote, "Companies that incorporate local value creation will be both more sustainable and profitable in Africa in the long term. By investing in local economies and creating local jobs, they are also increasing the pool of people who can afford their products and services," I close quote. Both our agencies, SIFA and SEDA, are collaborating on this work. SEDA, for example, is partnering with SAPI and SAFCOL in Mpumalanga, Lafarge in the Northwest, Pick and Pay in the Western Cape, Gold One Mine in the East Rand, SIOC in the Northern Cape, and RMI in a number of provinces, to mention a few. Sasol has also collaborated with SEDA to roll out pop-up markets in the various provinces, and in Mpumalanga and Free State is providing containerized business hubs to support township businesses. SIFA has supported 51 SMMEs to gain access to corporate value chain markets. These were supported with a 201 million rands revolving credit facility to provide goods and services to corporates such as Tiger Brands, United Exports, Grain SA, Colton SA, Rainbow Chicken Limited, and Mondi, amongst others. Madam Chair, the third pillar of our strategy is access to finance, umnotho ezandleni. As I have suggested previously, the World Bank estimates our small enterprise credit gap in South Africa to be between 350 billion rands to 500 billion rands. This is a national crisis that we all need to work together to resolve. For this financial year ending 31st March, SIFA, through its development finance interventions and programs, financed 74,762 SMMEs and cooperatives and dispersed 2.4 billion rands to these enterprises. Through these disbursements, SIFA was able to reach 74,486 Black-owned SMMEs to the value of 2.1 billion. 15,535 youth-owned SMMEs to the value of 564 million. 72,651 women-owned SMMEs to the value of 928 million. 2,953 township-based SMMEs to the value of 541 million. 66,302 rural-based SMMEs to the value of 952 million. Collectively, these funding interventions have created 32,665 new jobs and sustained 71,882 existing jobs. Through this budget, SIFA will seek to approve loan finance to the value of 2.5 billion rands and disperse 2.2 billion rands to 93,000 small businesses and cooperatives. We have also finalized the SMMEs and cooperatives funding policy, which will accelerate addressing the credit gap through expanded access to finance and early stage investment. Enabling youth entrepreneurship is a priority for our department. For this financial year, 122 million rands has been allocated to the Youth Challenge Fund. With regards to the township and rural entrepreneurship, we have looked at local productive business ventures. And for this financial year, we set a target of supporting 20,000 enterprises and surpassed this target by providing financial and non-financial support to 23,344 enterprises, 3,344 extra to what we had committed to. This year, we have increased the target to 30,000 enterprises and have allocated 909 million rands 42 for the program. It is clear that the ANC-led government is serious about economic inclusion. Of this 909 million 42 rands TRAP allocation, 500 million rands goes to CEDA as broken as follows. 280 million rands to equipment targeting SMMEs worth turnover of less than 3 million rands. 100 million for product markets piloted in 7 district municipalities. We want SMME markets, and we urge all of you, fellow South Africans and honorable members, to go to those markets just like you go to the big malls. Do provide support so that we can increase our jobs and therefore contribute towards our economy. 70 million rands to energy support for product markets. 50 million rands for general dealer support as part of reclaiming the informal trader space. Everywhere we went to, people are complaining about foreign nationals that are taking over spaza shops and general dealerships. We're calling upon all proud South Africans to make sure that they go back and utilize this opportunity. Our allocation for SIFA this year is 409 million rands on TRAP, which goes as follows: 200 million for township and rural businesses for power purchase product. The energy crisis is a reality and a nightmare to our small businesses. Therefore, we have no choice but to put in measures that must mitigate the risk and closure of businesses. 209 million rands, it goes to the normal TRAP lending wherein we borrow money to those businesses in those areas. In addition, SIFA will allocate 220 million rands for other businesses for the power purchase project. 100 million is set aside in SIFA for automotive aftermarket support. Businesses can get up to 1 million rands, of which 100,000 is a grant. 32 million rands for stock for spaza shop support implemented through SIFA and CEDA. The other financial support instruments we have as the portfolio include the Informal and Micro Enterprise Development Program, which is 100% grant offered to informal and micro enterprises from the minimum grant of 500 rands up to the maximum of 15,000 rands to assist them to improve their competitiveness and sustainability. To this program, we've allocated 20 million rands. And through this program, we intend to support 1,333 informal businesses in this financial year. Finally, House Chair.
Order, Honorable GM, just, Ma'am Soju, please mute, proceed. Minister.
Thank you so much, House Chair. We have the Cooperatives Development Support Program, to which we are allocating 73 million rands, and the Deputy Minister will talk to what we have done and what we are going to do in this financial year. The fourth pillar of our strategy is access to business development services. Our core work here is in the space of incubation and entrepreneurship support. We set a target of establishing 100 incubators. Through CEDA, we've thus far established 110 incubators nationally, aligned to government's priority sectors. These incubators are further broken down into 73 technology business centers, 31 centers for entrepreneurship and rapid incubation, and 6 township and digital hubs. For this financial year, a total of 2,507 SMMEs were supported via the incubation program. 1,607 jobs were created and 6,995 jobs were sustained. A total of 148 million has been put aside for incubation for the 2023-2024 financial year. Of this, a total of 44 million rands has been put aside to implement the approved 11 incubators in rural and township areas. Our Limpopo jewelry business incubator has recently seen 2 of its SMMEs taking bold steps towards expanding their horizons in the international market. Come Again Holdings Pty Ltd and South African Swiss Pty Ltd represented the incubator in the International 2023 APLF Dubai exhibition and the Platinum Guild International India show respectively. The importance of such representation and exposure cannot be overstated as it provides SMEs with the opportunity to showcase their products and services, network with potential clients and investors, and gain valuable exposure in new global markets. We've just launched the National Mandela Hub and recruited 40 new incubatees who will participate in a 3-year incubation program. The center also showcased the new technology equipment it bought, including virtual reality headsets and controls. Our Mafikeng Digital Innovation Hub recently partnered with Telkom to host the Future Makers Hackathon for high school learners. The 5th pillar of our strategy is building our capacity and capabilities for effective implementation. We are going to embark on digitization, which will also improve transparency and reduce scope of fraudulent and unsavory practices, besides improving the turnaround time and applications. We're also busy with the establishment of a one-stop shop agency for the small businesses and cooperatives. And in this regard, Cabinet has approved the business case and we're in a process of finalizing. We've appointed DDM champions to strengthen the DDM1 plans and mobilize the 3 spheres behind the work of the department in the local spheres. Ladies and gentlemen, honorable members, again, we can't do this by ourselves. Therefore, we ventured into partnerships. In partnership with the Department of Higher Education, we are going to train 1,500 graduates, of which the 750 will be trained this financial year and the next one and the next financial year. They will be offered job opportunities for a maximum period of 18 months, working with informal businesses, including spaza shops and general dealers. In addition to this, 12,500 spaza shops and general dealers will receive business development support training. And this program will be rolled out to all provinces, but with bias to rural provinces. This we do because we believe that it is high time that we professionalize businesses. It's not about the size. Business is business. Chairperson, in partnership with wholesale and retail SETA, we are targeting 3,000 spaza shops and general dealers who will be receiving stock of up to 6,000 rands and training on stock management. This partnership will also result in 200 graduates being employed for a period of 12 months to assist in the business development support services. Our partnership with MERSETA will result in recognition of prior learning, where 600 employees of SMMEs in the automotive industry will be trained and given an opportunity to obtain trade centers for a period of 2 years. And in addition, 300 SMMEs in that sector will receive business development support, and the qualifying businesses will be linked to the KCG Automotive Aftermarket Support Program that I spoke about. SAB, through its foundation, is investing an average of 100 million rands a year in the small businesses that we work with. Tiger Brands will enter into funding partnership with CIFA to provide access for SMMEs who either exist or are prospective suppliers of Tiger Brands. our department and its agencies again will provide the JSE Accelerator Program, which looks at ensuring that businesses that could not get the amount that they're looking for from us, they will get the top up from themselves. They will also provide funding readiness training and support of these businesses. On CEDA, we have allocated 301 million rands towards enterprise development. In conclusion, Honorable Chairperson, I table before you the budget vote of the department for this financial year. The budget is an indication of government's commitment to promote the development of small businesses and cooperatives. The department is allocated a budget of 2,574.78 billion rands for this 2023-2024 financial year. Transfers and subsidies amount to 2,226.36 billion rands, compensation of employees to 225 million rands, goods and services 118 million rands, and capital expenditure 4,94 million. This budget vote shows the unwavering commitment of the ANC-led government to SMMEs and cooperatives development. As I wrap up, let me extend my sincere gratitude to the Portfolio Committee for guidance, as well as to stakeholders and all SMMEs and cooperatives, including informal businesses, for the continued support to our ministry. I would like to thank the Deputy Minister, Ms. Dipuo Putas, the rest of the ministry team, the DG and the entire department, as well as the boards and officials of our agencies for their contribution and support towards the work that we do. I would also like to thank the President and Cabinet colleagues for their leadership and support they provide. We thank the Portfolio Committee for the ongoing encouragement and, of course, the necessary coaching where it's required. Despite the challenges we face as a country, the people know that the ANC remains the leading force for change in the country and carries the hopes and aspirations of our people. Unlike main opposition parties, and I quote directly from the resolutions of the ANC's 55th National Conference, we are committed to build an economy which is inclusive and in which new businesses are able to emerge and flourish, where Black people and majority, women and young South Africans are able to advance at all levels and all areas of our economy, and where township and rural economies are able to grow. It is easy to howl and cast aspersions when you are not holding the fort. We do understand that as the governing party, we owe it to the people that have given us the support that led to us being in government. We call upon all members of parliament, irrespective of the t-shirts they wear, the slogans that they champion, to really try to work with us in resolving the challenges that are faced by our country. And the only solution to that is when we collectively build towards creating more SMMEs and supporting them instead of running away from where they are.
Order.
And ensuring ensuring that small businesses are supported by all honorable members who dare speak on their behalf on this house. It can never be acceptable that people see the reason to politic about the challenges that are faced by our people. But as members of the caring organization, we're left with no choice but do what we have to do, save the AIDS,
Order.
create a conducive environment amongst all the noise that continue to be made. One day we will sing from the same book. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you.